Welcome once again to the WrestleCord podcast. This is Ryan here along with Cordial. It is April 28th, 2026, about 9:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. And what a fun weekend of wrestling. I think we watched about 9 hours in total. Super fun, and 7 of them alone were spent on Stardom this past Sunday.
Yes, which we're going to cover a little later. And I also just wanted to say this is episode 15.
Oh, yo, look at us moving along here. It feels just like 2 months ago that it was the first one. Oh, it was about 2 months ago. It was about 2 months ago,
yeah.
So, speaking of some of the shows we're going to go over, like we just said, we're going to go over Collision. This was the playoff palooza that happened this Saturday from Portland, Oregon. The show was actually taped last week, right after Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts out with a conglomeration in the back. So we have Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. And they're talking about being excited about their upcoming match, which is going to be them defending their trios titles against 3 members of the Don Callis family. They ended up getting interrupted by FTR along with Stokely Hathaway. Stoke and FTR say that they have something they need to say about Cope and Cage. Stoke says he doesn't know why the conglomeration are in such a rush to get out there to the ring because they're just going to lose to the Don Callis family. Then we end up out in the arena. We get FTR and Stoke coming out to the ring. I'm not sure who it was who was talking to Cope, but he says, you guys think you deserve this. The rest of us don't want you here. They go on talking about how a street fight in New York sounds fine, but they want to do one better. They're going to make sure that there are no more questions about who's the best. There's going to be no more debates about who's the best because they're going to make them quit. They're going to make them say, I quit. And this is going to be a New York street fight I quit match. So an I quit match in New York.
Yes.
I mean, that's not really more to it than that, but they're giving it this fancier name.
And I want to say it was Dax on the mic at this point. At this point, I don't know if he started, but he ends his little time with now Adam, the ball's in your court.
Speaking of Adam Copeland,
yes, directly. It's that because that's what Adam said to him. So.
Yeah. Well, the promo that involved the Cope Cage combination asking for this match was actually just Adam Copeland in the back doing a video message to FTR. So that's why they're more speaking directly to Adam and not necessarily both Adam and Christian Cage.
Yep.
So from here we go to that aforementioned trios title match, the conglomeration, Roddy, Cassidy, and Kyle taking on Don Callis family's Andrade El Idolo, Hechizera, and Lance Archer. This was quite a fun match. We get some comedy in here.
I was excited to actually see Lance Archer. We don't really get to see him wrestle a lot. He comes out with the Don Callis family a lot, but we don't actually get to see him
involved
wrestle.
in a lot of these beatdown. We haven't seen him too much in the ring. It was interesting. Just a few weeks ago, I watched him do an old match of him versus Bryan Danielson from an episode of, I think it was Collision. And my God, that was a great match. I had completely forgot this match happened. And Lance Archer is a guy I think that is just very underutilized in a lot of the promotion he's been in, except maybe his stints in Japan, which I feel like really taught him how to be a monster in the ring.
Oh, I didn't even realize he was in Japan.
Oh, yeah, he spent a lot of time in Japan. The first time I saw Lance Archer was Lance Hoyt in TNA. He was teaming with, oh my God. Oh,
testing your knowledge here.
Kid Cash, who had at one point in ECW sort of a Kid Rock gimmick, just very much like Kid Rock.
Okay.
I wonder if he still does that gimmick now, where he just, I guess, gets on his knees and sucks Donald Trump's dick. I don't know. You had noted during this that Kyle O'Reilly cut his hair. So
yes, he did.
For those of you out there interested, he's got a bit of a different look now. Yeah, a little less straggly.
Yep.
And a little like a wet rat out there.
Yeah.
They always wetting it down before he gets in the ring.
No one can ever look more like a wet rat than Pac did.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. Now he's got... It does look like Pac is growing it back out.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's not shaving it underneath, I think just made it look so much weirder as he did that shaving underneath.
Yeah.
So,
So
we had Orange wrestling in a t-shirt here, his shirt, which was unusual. I was
usually
worried.
he takes it off, right?
Yeah.
Is he like right after he gets in the ring and does his whole entrance?
Absolutely. I was kind of concerned maybe he had some injury he was hiding or some marks on his body he was embarrassed about or, just his tiny skinny frame he's embarrassed about. I mean, I would be if I was him. But we were sort of pondering why that might be. And then we would soon find out as we get a face-off between Orange Cassidy and Andrade El Idolo. Andrade would start doing his I'm going to take off my pants gimmick. Instead, Orange sort of snatched his belt from him before he was able to do the pants removal. Andrade goes to try to get his belt back, and Orange actually pantses him.
Yep. He did a slaps attack.
Shanks him right in the ring. Yep. and Andrade, not a fan of this, getting very upset. Now, who was a fan of this? Nigel McGuinness was like losing his mind. He was acting like Don Callis out there, getting very, very worked up, very flummoxed over the Andrade revealing his thick thighs. And so, at this point,
he's a handsome man, but man, these guys are just like fawning all over him.
They really are. And so are the ladies at ringside.
Oh God, his thoughts.
I'm sure none of them are paid. They all just show up exactly in the corners.
Yeah,
though.
well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
So then from here, Andrade beats down Orange, steals his shirt, and starts wearing Orange's shirt around the ring, which is pretty funny. He would then throw Cassidy through the ropes to the outside here. Andrade would take a moment here to pause and, like we just said, take time with his thought at ringside, doing the picture thing, which was funny because Orange was being held in the background. Mm-hmm. I think it was Hechizero was holding Orange, and we had Andrade sort of turn the camera so that he could get that shot of Orange in the background.
Well, this is after his thought actually took off Orange's shirt. Like Orange's shirt off of Andrade.
Took Andrade's shirt.
Yeah. Like
Cassidy's shirt off of Andrade.
Yes.
So Cassidy fights back here, does a double Hurricane Run to El Idolo and Hechizero back in the ring. And I remember you lamenting you did not like this very much.
No, because I don't like when they do two people on one move. Like, it's so unrealistic looking to me. You know, especially like with the Hurricanrana.
A little too choreographed.
Yes, how are you doing a double Hurricanrana? Like, I don't get it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I will lament about that till the cows come home.
Well, Orange wouldn't last long here. He started getting the beat down, getting the ring getting cut in half. He's taking a lot of beating. Eventually, he would get the hot tag to Kyle. Kyle O'Reilly would come in, start clearing house. Kyle would get sent to the ropes, and Roddy would get a blind tag. Then Roddy comes in and starts throwing Orange around like a battering ram, doing that fun spot they've been doing lately.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
It's fun.
We had, at one point here, Lance goes for a choke slam on Orange, but Orange reverses it into a DDT. Then he actually does another choke slam attempt where Orange comes down with the Orange Punch. All three men then just start pretty much chopping down Lance Archer, hitting him with move after move. And then it would be Cassidy hitting the Orange Punch again for the 1, 2, 3. Really a fun opener for the show. I liked it. We did get actually a similar match later on in the night in that main event with that sort of fast-paced action. This for a Collision too, this was actually pretty sparing on the matches. I think there was 4 matches in total for the whole show.
Yeah,
I didn't hate. I thought the show was, like we said before, I don't think we did say at the beginning of this. I think that was our first take of the podcast before we had to restart our podcast because I was flummoxed. I was making all kinds of issues. And, so we then get a video package showing the Death Riders carrying Ospreay off at the end of Dynamite, which I don't think we touched on this in the podcast for Dynamite, but it was so weird that they went from Ospreay being so hurt that he couldn't continue his match, the ref had to wave it off, then getting carried away by the Death Riders into God only knows where, and then we immediately go to the back with Alex Windsor, who doesn't mention any of this. His fiancée, they're about to get married, and she doesn't at all mention the fact that her husband says that he can't feel either of his arms, and then just gets carried away by the Death Riders, who, if you folks remember, put a bag over Bryan Danielson's head and tried to smother him, then also tried to drown Darby Allin.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure that she would mention it because in story, they don't really.
What do you mean
there
in story?
Is really no
It's definitely
between the two of them.
I don't care. Story is real life, though. We all know that they're engaged, and he's even mentioned it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I
can
think it was
understand.
bad. I think you should just agree with me. It was
No,
bad.
I can't do that.
Don't I know it? So we have this segment talking about what the Death Riders did, and then we jump to apparently what happened right after this that we have not seen till now, which is Claudio carrying Ospreay into a room, 2 chairs set up. John's already sitting in one chair.
Like a parking garage. I don't know. It was. I don't think it was just a room.
Okay. It was like concrete floored, but
yeah.
I mean, we're in an arena, so there's a lot of concrete floor.
Yeah.
But, Claudio carries Ospreay and sits him down in the chair opposite Jon Moxley. Marina then throws water in his face, then takes a towel and like wraps it around his neck, like along his chin, and then snaps the towel to one side, then snaps it to the other, sort of doing a chiropractic adjustment here on Ospreay. I'm not sure what she got her license.
I don't either. I used to do that actually. That's one of the moves that they had me do for my shoulder whenever I was doing PT.
Yeah.
Not snapping it, but like I would pull.
They had you take a towel and snap Ospreay's neck as part of your PT.
Yes, absolutely.
That's interesting. I didn't know this about.
Yeah,
your
I forgot
situation.
to tell you I met Will Ospreay. Sorry, my bad. Shoot, you weren't supposed to find that
out. I don't know why, but okay. Why was that such a big secret? Did something happen? Did Ospreay hurt you?
I can't talk about this.
Okay. So we have Jon Moxley. He's sitting there essentially telling Ospreay, you need to basically stop beating the shit out of your body. What is your goal here? What are you trying to accomplish? What has any of this got you? And then he says, if you work your mind, telling him if you work your mind, that's a thing that won't ever break. You can work that like forever and it will never break. And then he tells him, you can keep running headlong into a brick wall, but if you take a step back and look to see that if there's a door there, you can just waltz right through and accomplish whatever you want. Then he tells him, you have this thing between you and I have to end, and you have 2 choices here. You can either end up like so many other people, so I guess they're gonna beat him to death, like Bryan and Darby, even though Darby's now world champion, so I guess it worked out well for him. Mm-hmm. Or you can make the smart choice and accomplish everything you want to. Then he would slide a steel chair over to Will Ospreay on the floor. He would get up, turn around, put his hands behind his back. Ospreay picks up the chair and then screams at, I guess, the cameraman, essentially. Mm-hmm. Get out now. Camera cuts, and we're left in limbo wondering what just happened there.
Yeah.
From here, we go to a huge 10-man tag match. We have the Death Riders, Claudio Wheeler and Daniel Garcia, teaming up with the Dogs, Fit Finlay and Clark Connors. If you aren't aware, folks, Gabe Kidd of the Dogs is currently out right now with an injury, believed to his shoulder.
It's Dave Finlay. You said Fit Finlay.
Oh,
was that his dad?
That was his dad.
Okay, yeah.
So Dave Finlay. Yep. Dave Finlay, former IWGP World Champion. They would go up against the Rascals. All 3 of them, Myron Reed, Desmond Xavier, and Zachary Wentz, plus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Jesus Christ, do we have to constantly now be bombarded with these ads of these stupid NFL lucha matches?
Oh my God, can we be any more WWE?
Yeah, they're very much. To be
like
honest, Tony Khan has never shied away from this inner marketing thing, I have to say. It's one of the things I don't love about the show. There's, had all kinds of involvements in name of matches and just advertisement, working them into segments of advertisers. So, this isn't totally unexpected. And I guess if it keeps AW alive a bit longer, I can't necessarily hate that. But
yes, you can.
It's very cringy.
It is.
Even though I might have to buy a Ravens one.
No.
So, yes.
So I get to buy a Steelers one, right?
You can waste your money on garbage if you want. That's your choice, isn't it? So, at one point here, we have the Death Riders, Claudio Wheeler and Garcia, doing a round robin on Desmond in the corner. They spent a lot of this match cutting the ring off on Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Desmond would get a hot tag. We'd have Garcia getting caught in the corner here now while the Rascals round robin him. Myron, and I think it's Wheeler Yuta at one point here becomes the victim of that lung blower stomp combo that they like to use.
We get Claudio at some point doing a sharpshooter on Zach Wentz.
Yep.
And that looked pretty.
He would get a sharpshooter, and then Daniel Garcia would get a sharpshooter, and then Wheeler Yuta would get a sharpshooter, and then the Dogs would get a sharpshooter, and everybody gets a sharpshooter.
The Bucks are the ones that gave the sharpshooters to the Dogs. That I actually had a note on that one.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's why I made a note of it.
I mean, that's not what
Young Bucks do sharpshooters on the Dogs. You even have that.
Yeah.
You have that note too.
Oh, so yeah, the Dogs get put in sharpshooters.
Yes. Whole bunch of sharpshooters going on.
Yeah, sharpshooters everywhere. And but from here, Death Riders would take control, start working over Desmond a lot more and slowing the pace. Yuta and Garcia get in there and start twisting Desmond's arms. We get a commercial break. Come back from the commercial break I was getting my notes all mixed up here. This is where we have Desmond getting the hot tag to Wentz. Wentz takes out the Riders, then tags in Myron. Myron starts taking control, killing everyone. Then we have Nick getting in next and ends up taking out both of the Dogs in tandem. Matt follows suit, killing everybody as well. We get them dropping all their finishers on Connor, and then finally it is Desmond heading up to the top. He comes off, but ends up getting caught by Claudio with a European uppercut. We get some back and forth. Everyone's in the ring, all kind of chaos. Everyone's diving to the outside, and eventually Zachary Wentz gets caught in the midst of the Dogs in the ring. They hit the full clip on it and pin Zachary Wentz for the Dogs and the Death Riders getting the win here.
Yep.
Yeah, and we don't get really any mention of what's going on with Ospreay during this. We don't get any further insight into that whole situation. Yep. And moving on from there, we get to the back where we have Lexi with Sheeta, Chris Statlander, who are now formed this team, and they're standing next to Harley, Cameron, and Mina. Harley looks quite upset. If you haven't been following, and it's been hard to follow if you're not looking outside of just the bubble of the show, because Sheeta has been making comments at Harley in Japanese that most of us don't understand, but it's been confirmed by the actually Japanese Twitter of AEW that she is in fact insulting Harley consistently here. So Harley's very upset, and Sheeta and Stat kind of confronts Sheeta here about this. Sheeta just doubles down here, starts repeatedly insulting Harley, telling her she's not on their level. Harley eventually quits back in Japanese, and I've yet to, I made a mistake here, I've yet to look up to see what that is.
Well, and at some point when Harley's talking, Sheeta, I don't know if you caught this, but Sheeta actually takes her hand up by her eye and does like the little fake crying.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know, and Harley looked like she was like tearing up there. She was quite upset, quite hurt by this. So she quits back in Japanese. I'm not quite sure what she says. And then Mina actually follows on, chiming in. Mm-hmm. So from here, we'd head back to the ring where we're going to get Chris Statlander involved in a match taking on Becca. Seen Becca before in AEW. Super fun. And she really proved that in this match, looking really good in how short of a match this is. Becca hits a great top rope suplex to Chris. She would, I'm sorry, I think that was actually a drop kick to Chris, who was slung like over the top rope. Becca with she would also hook a leg lock around the neck of Chris, sort of trying to submit her. Chris would battle back, climbing up to her feet and maneuvering Becca into position and hitting the Saturday Night Fever for the 1, 2, 3. This was actually really fun, and Becca got a lot of offense in how short of a match.
Honestly, I think she did a really good job.
I think she looked great. I'd love to see more of her on AEW television.
And then after this part, so we get Sheeta coming out to the ringside, and she wants a hug after the match with Chris, but Chris just ignores her and continues walking to the back, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah.
Like, they're tag team partners. You think they would be super excited for each other, but I don't know.
So from here we get the Divine Dominion in a backstage segment talking about their upcoming title match. We then go back to the ring where we get Rush taking on Adam Priest, who is partners with the Dynamite Kid Tom Billington, the son of the original Dynamite Kid.
No, Adam Priest is the Dynamite Kid.
Okay, Adam Priest is not the Dynamite Kid.
I know, I'm making a joke because we went through this whole thing.
I just held my head in frustration, folks, because I literally spent about 10 minutes arguing with everyone in the room over the fact that Adam Priest is not the Dynamite Kid.
Because I swear that's what the graphic said.
No, it said Dynamite Kid Tom Billington, then it said Adam Priest. All right, folks, because they have a tag team sort of graphic for their entrance here.
Yes.
So,
and I don't know who either of these people are, so I was super confused.
And this match mostly consisted of striking, a lot of striking.
Oh my gosh.
Priest is eating like a ton of chops from Rush. I really think Rush just loves to go in there and really just kind of hurt people a little bit. Not like hurt them, but I think he likes to cause pain.
I think he likes it. Well, and he likes to show
kind of
his
an asshole.
Yeah, and I think he's like trying to show his dominance.
Yeah, and then throughout the match, Priest would be getting beat down, then he'd start firing back, and then almost immediately get cut back off with Rush holding the majority of the control of this match. We get a bunch of back and forth strikes. Priest would hit at one point a big top rope leg drop, which actually looked great. But in the end, it's Rush with the bullhorns for the 1, 2, 3. From here, we go to the back with Takeshita, who is says that he is happy to take the title from Okada, and then does Okada's line,
"I'll take your title,
bitch." Yes. Bitch.
I love it.
Okada says, "I don't like you. I don't respect you." And says, "I'm not scared of you." So I'm really excited. This is going to definitely be something interesting.
I'm so excited.
I love the dynamics going on here in this whole feud. Finally, somebody sort of descending away from the Don Callis family, even though Don Callis has not said that yet. Don Callis has reaffirmed that he would call Takeshita still an important member of the Don Callis family.
Yeah.
So then we'd have a great women's tag team match with Alex Windsor and Persephone. Persephone taking the place of Jamie Hayter. She is out right now, which I talked about recently on our news segment, the WrestleCord News Break, which I don't know if we've talked. Oh yeah, we talked about that on Wednesday, folks. Yeah. We have a new every day. You're going to get to see me. Yes, my face. I'm sorry, folks. On YouTube.com/WrestleCord, giving a no longer than 20-minute sort of breakdown of all the fun, important news, or at least the news that I find fun and important in the world of wrestling and MMA. So please check that out every single day. The WrestleCord News Break. Jamie Hayter is out with an injury, and she posted on, like I was about to say before I got sidetracked, talking about my new segment. I'm so excited, honestly. I love doing the segment. She is out with an injury. She has posted on X saying that the injury is, quote, no big deal, and she should be back in a week or so. Hopefully we'll maybe see her back this week on Dynamite tomorrow night. One can hope. So Persephone taking her place. Persephone is CMLL Women's World Champion, and they're going to take on the Triangle of Madnesses, Tekla, and Sky Blue.
I was really excited for this match.
Yeah, and it seems like Julia Hart might be out with a bit of an injury too, which is why we're getting this tag team of Tekla and Sky Blue.
Instead of Sky Blue and Julia.
Yes, instead of the Sisters of Sin.
Yeah.
Which I think they need to come up with a tag team name for themselves as this pairing, Tekla and Sky Blue. I would love to see that. So,
what about the Toxic Sky?
Okay, sure. I like that. Tekla.
Sorry,
So it starts out. We have Alex Windsor in the ring. She's fired up. She wants a piece of Tekla.
Yep.
Tekla's in the ring. These two women are going to start. Nope. Tekla just immediately tags out to Sky Blue before there's any interaction. So it ends up starting out with Sky Blue and Alex Windsor. They battle back and forth. Alex Windsor is definitely keeping the upper hand early on. Tekla is not a fan of this. She runs into the ring and takes out Windsor for a moment. Persephone isn't liking this either, so she heads in and takes out takes Tekla out of the ring, but this is enough for Sky Blue to now get the advantage. They would Sky Blue and Tekla would spend a whole bunch of the next few moments of this match cutting the ring off, really working over Alex Windsor. I was kind of surprised that Alex Windsor was the one taking so much of the beating here in this match, and not more Persephone, considering considering Alex Windsor is the AEW star really being pushed here. But I guess, Persephone being the CMLL World Champion, they probably didn't want her to look too bad.
Yeah.
So, and Alex Windsor was great in this role. She was great at taking a beating. What a sad thing to have to be good at. At one point, Tekla has Alex back into a corner, and she climbs up to like the middle rope and just like buries her knee into her head and just starts like grinding her knee on Alex Windsor's head.
So I'm not sure where this happens, but so Sky Blue's on the outside. There's a bunch of tagging in and out between Sky and Tekla. And Sky Blue ends up going to the outside of the ring. And the crowd is booing her. I don't remember what she did. She did something to make the crowd boo her. And she literally is just walking around the ring, rolling her eyes at them.
I love it. I love it. She's
so much attitude.
Learning a lot about that attitude from Tekla, clearly, and how to work the ring. I mean, I'll go back to what happened a few months ago when we had the Blood and Guts match, the Women's Blood and Guts match, which I stand absolutely by this. It is the best Blood and Guts match I have seen thus far. Out of the men's, out of the women's, it was absolutely the best, and that actually being the first women's one. And you could really see Sky Blue coming into her own in that match.
Yep.
That famous picture of her just drenched in blood.
Yep.
Fucking looked like such a badass. I loved it. So, eventually, Persephone would get tagged in. She starts dominating Tekla. She is so much bigger than Tekla here. Tekla is already kind of a small chick.
Yeah.
And Persephone is a bit of a big chick. And seeing those two together, there's such a size disparity.
Yeah. Persephone did a fall-away slam on Tekla at this point, and it looked pretty wicked.
Yeah. Yeah, and at one point, Persephone would end up getting a double clothesline on Sky and Tekla. Then Sky would fight back and go for a code blue on Alex Windsor, but Persephone comes in and nails her with a big boot, putting an end to that. We get more back and forth, and eventually we have Blow and Persephone in the ring. Tekla distracts the ref. Julia Hart comes out, gets in the ring, missed Persephone, code blue to Persephone, 1, 2, 3, and you got it right, folks. Sky Blue getting the pin on the CMLL Women's World Champion. This was a fun match. This was one of the reasons this show went by so fast.
Yes.
There were so many fun matches that weren't these long 90-minute epics, that were just really fun. They weren't short bursts. They were just very well structured.
Yes.
This show, I can't stress enough how fast this show went by.
Yeah.
It was such fun.
So I have to ask, with Julia coming out and missing Persephone in the face, what do you think the ramifications of that are going to be?
Oh, do you think that the mist is going to enter into the bloodstream of Persephone, and she's now going to turn, I guess, madness?
I don't know, because
black?
I mean, if we look at maybe. I mean, if you look at the history of what happened.
I don't mean that in a racist way.
No.
I mean in reference to the House of Black.
Yes.
What turned Sky Blue? What turned Julia Hart?
Yeah, exactly. So every other person that's been misted in the face, it's turned them. So I wonder if this is going to be.
I don't think everyone that's been misted has been turned. I don't think everyone.
Well, I can't really. Okay, I just know Julia. Well, I only know of Julia and Sky. So who else has been misted?
I'm pretty sure other people have been misted.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll have to come back to that, folks.
Yeah.
And up next, we'd have... I actually forgot this match happened.
Well, before we actually have the match, though, we do have a little video package of MJF and Darby and the Jet. It was just a recap of what happened at Dynamite? I meant to say Dynamite. So, it was just short. There wasn't really anything to it. It's just really just a recap of everything that had happened. So, then we move into our next match of El Clone and Jungle Jack Perry, who is the national champion right now, and this is the title match. So,
and this is a match for the title. Yep.
Match for the title. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. Oh, you don't need to apologize. No, you steal the mic from me and then you just start flubbing it up. No.
Well, yeah, that's what I do best.
Hey, we're bringing a little bit of a little curveball here to the show. we have. So it starts out pretty fast. Clone they start fighting around ringside. Clone starts beating Jack all around the outside. He ends up putting his head on the steps and like standing on his head on the top of the stairs. So fun. It's like he's trying to break open a coconut or something. Jack ends up battling back, hitting a missile, drop kick, and a power bomb. We get more back and forth. Al Clone ends up getting Jack down on the mat in like sort of a weird abdominal stretch variation on the mat. I'm not sure exactly what to call that. But during it, he starts like prying Jack's mouth open with his fingers. Really nasty looking stuff. We get a commercial break here, and when we come back, we get a strike battle between the two. And then Clone would end up hitting a weird sort of pump handle type thing, but with the leg. And Jack is able to reverse that and then fight off. We get, of course, throughout this whole match, we get all kinds of great offense from Al Clone. This guy's got such weird, innovative ways of doing some of these maneuvers. Like, instead of just doing a pumping, he's doing a weird pumping with a leg. This guy's just wild. I love what he's doing here. We get a German, Jack ends up getting control here and hitting a German suplex on Clone, and then follows up with that big running knee and gets the win, keeping the national title around his waist. From here, we get a nice little Willow video package, and then we would have with her in the back. She, do you want to walk us through? She'll have more notes on this segment.
So she's basically just talking, saying, I think she's talking to Camille, and she's saying, you want to come back at my expense. Sheeta did it, Camille did it, someone else found out. Basically, I'm your TBS champion. I am the face of TBS. I am Willow Nightingale, and I am at your service. I'm not exactly sure what she meant by the I'm at your service, or maybe she's just saying, I will fight anybody and everybody.
Is she a waitress now?
I don't know.
Be a new gimmick?
Maybe.
I like it. Instead of pulling down the strap, she could pull down like the apron. I don't know. Then we'd head to the back of the little segment. We have Mosef Joseph, Samoa Joe, and little baby Hook walking through the back side by side. Hooks is telling Samoa Joe that he started recruiting, which Mosef Joseph looked surprised about.
But why would he be surprised about that?
Well, I guess maybe he was supposed to get approval.
Okay. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, we have Anthony Bowens coming up. Now, Anthony Bowens has been trying to get into the ops, trying to, quote-unquote, prove that he is aggressive enough for the ops to Hook. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and when Bowens comes in, he does not look happy. Like, he looks frustrated. So, I think he kind of came in a little hot when he was talking to Hook.
Well, he comes up and he says, you said next week. It's next week. I need to know, am I in or not? Hook says to him, you need to chill. Samoa backed him up. And Hook then says, there's no place for you. I'm sorry, there's no position for you open in the ops. There's no opening in the ops, I think is how he says it.
Okay.
So Mosef Joe disagrees. This is kind of weird. And he just basically says, no, you're in. And then we leave the Mosef Joseph walks off, and we leave the segment with Bowens kind of smirking there at Hook, like, oh, I guess you're not boss anymore. Which I talked about on Dynamite with Samoa coming back. Is he going to retake the reins of being the leader of the ops? And is that just going to be an easy transition, or is Hook going to have some issue with that? So I don't know.
Hook
a bit of a power play here, a little bit.
I mean, Hook didn't really look happy about it.
Well, I wonder if Mosef Joe even wants Anthony Bowens in, or he just didn't like that Hook is acting like he's in control, and so he's just going to go against what he has to say.
Maybe.
Guess we'll find out.
I mean, Hook did say welcome before he walked away, so.
Yeah. And all right, and then that brings us to the main event.
Already?
Yes, already. We are there,
folks. Went so quick.
We have The Demand taking on Chris Jericho and the Hurt Syndicates, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. No, folks, MVP did not get in the ring on this one. No, I'm sorry to disappoint any of you Movups fans.
But I was happy to see Bobby Lashley is the one that's been out, right? Or do I have that wrong? Who's been out of the Hurt Syndicate because he was injured?
Yes, it was Bobby.
Yes, okay. Yes. So I mean, I I like the Hurt Syndicate. I really haven't had too many issues with them. So I was happy to see them back.
Yep. And
or I guess just
I know
I'm happy.
I know you noted that Ricochet was shushing
In
the crowd as they
During-
sung along to Judas.
Yes, that was funny. Yeah, so we basically start out everybody in the ring just beating the hell out of each
all
other.
kinds of chaos in the ring. Eventually, the Hurt Syndicate clears house and actually pose for a minute. All three of them, Jericho included. We'd get from here, Ricochet ends up battling around ringside with Chris Jericho. Eventually, Chris Jericho heads back into the ring and they start cutting the ring off on Jericho, taking him out. Jericho would fight back though and get a hot tag. Lashley comes in, clears house of the demand. Jericho ends up getting back in, it starts hitting mounted punches on Ricochet in the corner, and then finishes that off doing a Hurricane Rana. Shelton hits Shelton would end up back in now. In for the first time. He would end up. There's a bunch of chaos going on here, so it's all kinds of action. Shelton Benjamin's in the ring. He hits a big belly to belly superplex on Bishop. That looked awesome. More chaos. Ricochet ends up in the walls of Jericho.
We have Khan pulling Jericho. We have Khan pulling Ricochet over to the ropes for a break. Ricochet ends up doing a low blow.
The referee gets distracted.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they distract the referee.
I didn't have that. And then we have Ricochet doing the low blow while the referee is distracted to Jericho and ends up hitting the Rico Salt. I think is
Rico Salt.
I think
it should be. If it's Rick O'Shea, it should be Rico Salt.
So he hits the Rick Assault and does the pin for the win.
Again.
Second
twice
time.
with the Rick Assault.
Yep.
Ricochet pinning the legend Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho thus far has had 0 wins since he's been back. Am I catching that right?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think he has had any.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
What a return for Chris Jericho. And I think it's an interesting choice for Jericho to take the fall for the younger talent. I like that. I like that he's not coming back and being prima donna about it. Not trying to say he needs to have all these wins. Of course, there's plenty of wrestlers that do. Plenty of wrestlers, one of which I talked about on the news break, who just got released from WWE, Aleister Black, who allegedly has a reputation for not wanting to take falls. Rusev being another one, even though he's only gone back to WWE and lost pretty much every match he's ever had.
Interesting.
Losing again this week to Penta over the Intercontinental title. Yeah,
I like Penta. I'm so sad he left.
Yeah.
So, So I think that's going to move us into our All-Star Grand Queendom of Stardom.
Yep.
So this show was on Sunday, April 26th. I think we said earlier it was very early in the morning, so this was a very long show.
Yeah.
But even though it was a long show, it didn't really feel too terribly long.
Well, this is their biggest show of the year.
Yeah, it's like
so it's to be expected. I hate to even call everything. Everything gets compared to fucking WrestleMania.
Well, that's because WrestleMania's so
Well,
huge.
Starrcade was the original WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
So I should say, we should just say
like
this is their Starrcade.
That? I don't know.
I think better understand it. You need to be listening to a new show, folks.
So this
I don't know why the hell you're here. We're talking about Stardom and AEW, and you don't know what Starrcade is. Go home.
Well, I don't.
Oh, they probably are home listening to the podcast. Maybe they're at work. Maybe driving in your car.
Yeah, so this this pay-per-view was 7 hours, which I know you're probably thinking, oh my word. I will say there was a couple...
I'm sure so many of them are thinking, oh my word.
No, they're saying, oh my God. I know.
No, I think they're all saying, oh my word.
Yeah. So there was at the beginning of the one that we were watching, there was I think it was 30 minutes before it actually started.
No, I think it was pretty much like an hour.
Yeah, and then we had there was I think 1 or 2 intermissions in there that were 15-ish minutes. Yeah. So it was probably
some
all
of
in
the
all
time was padded out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was probably all in all about 5.5, 6
We did
hours.
have some grander entrances. None of them like the ones you get at WrestleMania, which are just absurd in length. But definitely some cool costumes.
Oh,
some little pieces of a big. I think it was in the main event, Kura bringing out sort of a big giant I don't even know what to call it. Staff?
Yeah, I guess.
That's wild.
Probably. It looked like something out of Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked very anime-esque, yes.
We had Maki Ito coming out for her entrance. Her freaking outfit was just awesome.
Well, let's
Sorry,
get
not outfit.
that's part of our main show. So
Yeah.
let's get back to our pre-show.
right.
We'd have 3 matches in our pre-show, a single, a tag, and then a 6-way match.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is actually new to you. AEW doesn't really do big 6-ways. The only time they do that many, it's like a gauntlet style.
Yes. So this was kind of interesting to see a 6-way where it's literally it's just every girl for herself.
Yep.
So that was fun.
But we started this all off with Aya Sakura versus Kyoko Furusawa.
Okay, so we're just gonna start off by saying we are probably gonna butcher some of these names. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna bail out now. I'm gonna let you take the reins here.
Thanks.
You can butcher a name, and I can act like I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is. I think maybe you should tell the folks about your feelings about Stardom.
Oh, I really like Stardom. I have to say they are probably one of my favorite promotions. I started watching Stardom probably 2 years ago, and I haven't really been
I think
able
it's even
to.
been more than that.
Maybe.
It's probably been about 3.
I haven't really been able to watch a ton of it, but of everything that I've seen, I very much enjoy it. I love how hard hitting it is. I love that they do a lot of tag matches. It's just, and of course, all of the in-ring attire is just so freaking cute. Their hair always looks amazing. They have all these crazy wild colors. Like, I love it. Oh, and one thing I noticed with this show especially, they all had jewels, like, glued under their eyes, which I thought was really cool. It's very, very cute. Catches the light real nicely. Because, I'm a girl and I have to speak on those things. So I love Stardom. I really do. I really wish I could honestly watch more of it. Unfortunately, time doesn't always allow me to do that. But anyway, moving on from my gushing, we start off with the pre-show. We got Aya Sakura versus Kikyo Furusawa. This match was fun. It wasn't long. There really wasn't too much to say as far as all of the spots and stuff, but Sakura ended up winning. So it was fun. Then we go into our tag team match with Kyoka Kotatsu and Matoi Hamabi versus Akira Korigane and Ann Kanava. Some of these names I'm not as familiar with. I've seen some of these more when we were watching. What were we watching last year? There was something specific we were watching where I saw a lot of these, but I can't remember what it is right now. But anyway,
I think it was just general Stardom.
Probably. There was lots of fun tagging, lots of really good synchronized tagging. Well, not tagging, synchronized moves.
Tag team moves.
Yeah, tag team moves, and it was fun. There was just a lot of really good stuff. Kotatsu and Hamabi ended up winning, so that was great. So then we move into our 6-way. So this is Tabata versus Xena versus Tamaka Inaba versus Lady C versus Momokogo versus Yumina Mizumori, who is our current high-speed champion. So high speed that's another promotion, right?
No, that's a Stardom title.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
See, I'm not as familiar with all of those.
It's I think it's the only Stardom title that doesn't look like a star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because, what's New Blood? That's not Stardom?
Well, it is, but those are the New Blood titles. It's almost like, it's like, I mean, it is a Stardom title, but it's like the never open weight, never 6-man with New Japan, or like the strong titles, where it's like they are, but it's like almost a separate thing.
Okay.
But it isn't. So yeah, I mean, in that vein, yes, you are right. The New Blood belts are also not stars.
Okay. I just had to double check.
But they're not called of Stardom titles,
right.
Which again, neither is a high speed one.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Because you have the Wonder of Stardom, Goddesses of Stardom, World of Stardom, Future of Stardom, all that. Yep.
Okay, all right. So this match was, there was a lot going on, which is, I think, very normal when you have a lot of people in the ring.
This was super fun, though.
It was fun. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Again, one of the things I absolutely love about Stardom is just how, I don't necessarily want to say mean, but I guess that is kind of what you would say, just how mean they are to each other.
I think is a word.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. They're so hard hitting. I know sometimes during matches that I see of the guys, I'm like, oh man, that looks so rough. Oh, that's so hard. But then I watch Stardom, and it's just like a whole nother level. They are just they have like no fucks to give. They just are so hard hitting on each other. So we get all of them coming out, each to their own.
That is a lot of Joshi wrestling in general.
Oh, okay.
It's very fast paced, very hard hitting.
Yeah.
These women are very serious about their craft.
Yeah, absolutely. So each woman comes out to her entrance, but I just have to note that Mizumori, when she comes out, she actually, I don't know what happened. She was kind of like skipping down the ramp, and I don't know if she just like stepped weird or she caught something, but she ended up actually falling on her way down to the ring. And at first, I actually thought she hurt herself because when she got up and started walking, she was like holding her right knee.
She was probably a little banged. I mean, she definitely...
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it didn't...
Just nothing serious, it seems.
She laughed it off, so she laughed it off. I guess she wasn't
Did
too
she
hurt.
laugh it off?
She did. I'm saying it one more time. She laughed it off.
LOL, folks. Off.
So we get them starting in the ring. We've got Mizumori over in the corner, and all the girls just start doing a round robin of forearms to her, which I always find really interesting. I don't see these super often, but I've been seeing them, I feel like, more with New Japan. We get...
What? Been seeing what?
Doing the round robins. I don't really see that too much. I don't remember seeing that a lot in AEW, unless I just miss it.
It might just not been something that was catching your eye as much, and it's just been doing it more now.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we do see it sometimes.
Yeah. So we have, at one point, we have Xena holding, so we have Tabata and Lady C are both in the ring on opposite sides, and we have
against the ropes.
Xena
They're like backs are against the ropes.
And we have Xena holding Tabata, and then Inaba is holding Lady C. So, and then we have Mizumori in between them, just going back and forth, hitting them with forearms, which I thought was a really cool spot. And as she does, I think she does like 3 or 4 of them, but on the very last one, when she hits, she does it so hard that she actually knocks both Tabata and Inaba off the apron. So we have a lot of 1 count covers. We have Inaba at one point covering Lady C twice in a row. Both of them only ended up being a 2 count. We have then Tabata after that second one. Tabata speeds in and then tries to cover Lady C for a 2 count. There was just so much fast-paced action with this, which I think happens when you have a lot of people in the ring. So it's hard to really gauge a lot.
I liked a lot how they did this, because instead of doing what often happens in modern-day multi-man matches where 2 people in the ring and everyone else is on the outside, and then they switch off. Then we had a lot of interaction with all women in the ring during a lot of this match. It was, or at least 3, 4, 5 women in the ring at the same time. It was super fun in that vein. Definitely gives an added twist, because when you're just doing this interchange of 2 wrestlers in the ring, essentially you're watching just a bunch of, it's like speed dating. It's like you're watching a bunch of really short singles matches. Instead of actually getting the variety that should be afforded to a match like this.
Well, and realistically speaking, you wouldn't have just 2 people in the ring if you have 6 people in your
realistically speaking, when we're talking about pro wrestling, what's happening here?
I guess.
No, you're absolutely right.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, I wouldn't stand on the outside of the ring. Dude, if I can go in and capitalize, I'm going to freaking do that.
But some people would. They'd let the other girls hurt themselves, and then they'd wait it out.
Strategy.
Yeah, stay fresh.
Yeah, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. Oh, no, so maybe I wouldn't go in and try to capitalize. Maybe I would just try to be strategic.
Oh. So I've already changed your mind that quickly.
So then we get all the girls in the ring. And they're doing I think you called it a crisscross spot.
Yeah, it's a crisscross spot where you're running from rope to rope, sort of crossing each other like cars flying through a 4-way stop.
Yeah, it looked like something out of the Jetsons. That was pretty fun. So then eventually we have Xena pinning Mizumori.
Yep,
so
the high-speed champion, pinning the high-speed champion. That's a big deal.
And this wasn't for the belt, so Mizumori still has her belt, but I thought it was really interesting that she ended up losing the match. So, and then we actually get a standoff between both of them. Xena tries to actually take her belt, but isn't able to, and then points at her wrist, which came off to me like she's saying it's only a matter of time, and I'm going to take that belt from you. So, and that's where we ended our pre-show. So now we roll into the main show. I don't typically like when shows open with talking or even with like video packages, but I have to say I actually really liked the way that this one opened. It was a video package of Natsupoi and Maki Ito, and it was going through the feud that they've been having this whole time. Now, because we do watch it and we have English commentary for a lot of the matches, we don't necessarily get that for the video packages. So unfortunately, everything that was said we couldn't understand, but we got the general gist of what was going on, and it was just showing the feud between the two of them. So this obviously then brings us into our first match of Maki Ito versus Natsupoi. So Maki Ito comes out first, and as she comes out, she is actually doing a performance entrance where she is singing and dancing. And did you tell me what the name of that is? There's a specific term for
No.
wrestlers who
No, I didn't.
sing. Okay. Anyway, she did.
There
really
is a lot of interplay between J-pop stars and the pro wrestling world, especially in relation to the women of J-pop. So this is not the first, and it won't be the last J-pop star who went and transitioned into pro wrestling, which is the story of Maki Ito.
Yeah, which I actually didn't even know that was a thing. So that's actually something that I learned. She did a really great job, and her in-ring attire, everything. Her whole attire was just absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was pink and black and just so much fun. And her hair looked adorable. And honestly, she's just adorable.
Yeah, and she came out with sort of a big sign.
Yes.
Like sort of made out of cardboard or something.
I actually think this is a callback to earlier where she made a cardboard belt that was supposed to.
She had the big star belt.
Yes. And then that got destroyed. I don't know who destroyed it, but someone.
I think it was Natsupoi.
Oh, it might have been. They showed it in the video. That would make sense, though. Yeah. It probably was Natsupoi. So then she made this like big cardboard heart, and she's been like bringing this out to matches, and they showed it in a couple of the clips during the video package. So
but back to the match. This was super hard fought. A lot of back and forth between those women, between the women. Very catty the whole time. Yes. It was really fun. At one point, Natsupoi hits the high speed fairy, and shockingly enough, Maki Ito kicks out.
Yeah, only got a 2
Then at one point, Natsupoi is just sort of positioned up on the top turnbuckle. Maki Ito goes and tries to hit her with her mock belt. And Natsupoi ends up yanking it out of Maki Ito's hand and then destroying that as well.
Yes.
So definitely a bad night for Maki Ito in that regard.
Yes.
And then the women would fight a bunch of back and forth. And in the end, it was Maki Ito folding Natsupoi up for the 1-2-3. Big win for Ito. Some revenge for the destruction of both of her championships.
Yes. So then we move on to a fun gauntlet match where we have our very first competitors coming in are Rian.
It is a tag team gauntlet match.
Oh, sorry, tag team gauntlet match. We have Rian and Waka Tsukiyama against Starlight Kid and May Sierra.
To start this out,
Yep. So we start up pretty quickly with May trying to pin. Not trying. We have a pretty quick pin where May pins Rian.
May Sierra.
Yep. Yeah. So we have Starlight Kid.
I think it was about 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Yep.
So we get Starlight Kid and May Sierra staying in the ring. So then we have
They're new competitors.
Yep. Souza Inaba and Rina coming out. We have Rina doing a spot where she kicks Starlight Kid in the head so incredibly hard. I honestly was surprised that she didn't knock Starlight Kid's mask off. It was so incredibly hard. So then we get Starlight Kid pinning Inaba with a roll-up. So that now still leaves Starlight Kid and May Sierra in the ring. So our next competitors coming out are Hina, and Amy Sorahi. Both part of God's Eye. Yep. We get a stack up in the corner. We get Ami having Starlight Kid and Hina up in. I don't think it was a rack. That she just had them up together.
Up in rack position up on her shoulders. Okay. Yeah, she had both girls up.
Yeah, which was. I thought it was a nice spot, even though I don't typically like these. I thought it was good because I thought it showed her strength.
Well, it certainly did show her strength.
You
don't need to think it did. It definitely did.
I know. I tend to say I think a lot. And we have Hina doing a beautiful drop kick to Starlight Kid a little later. But then we have Hina doing a splash onto May Sierra from the top rope for the pin and getting the elimination. So now we have Hina.
Finally, starting out in the beginning, Charlotte Kid and May Sierra finally getting eliminated here, like 3 teams in.
Yep. So now we have Hina and Amy in the ring. Ami, sorry. So then we have the next team out is Bae Priestley and Saya Aida. Both of the Stars. Yep, the Stars faction. We have Aida just starting out punching the shit out of Hina's chest. And it really doesn't do much.
Red marks, yeah.
Yeah. It really didn't do much to Hina. She kind of just stood there. And then Hina turns around and does the exact same thing back to her. Then we get Aida pinning Hina for the elimination. So now we have the team of Bae Priestley and Saya Aida.
No, you just did that.
Huh?
We just talked about Aida.
Yeah, no, okay. I know. They're still in. Still in.
Oh, yeah.
So now we have the next team.
Next we have Hazuki and Koguma.
Yes, both of the FWG faction. So FWG comes out and starts attacking right away. We have a couple drop kicks to Aida. We have Koguma. Yeah, standing on Aida's back at one point. And then we have Hazuki doing a drop to both Aida and Priestley to the mat at the same time, which I thought was interesting looking. Hazuki wins with a La Magistro Cradle to Aida.
La Magistra.
Oh, La Magistra. I will eventually get these. So I think...
We're throwing in a little Spanish there.
Yes.
To the Japanese.
Yes, we are. So we have Hazuki winning. So the team of Hazuki and Koguma. And I think this is definitely building some cachet in the tag division for the Goddesses of Stardom belts.
Yeah, so, setting them up definitely to be number 1 contenders here.
Yep.
And then we get to our first title match of the night.
Our Future of Stardom between Emma Mashima and Rana Yagami, who is the current champion. So we have Emma attacking Rana right out of the gate. Lots of forearms, lots of drop kicks, and then it tries to go for a 2 count, doesn't get it.
No, she tried to go for a 3 count. I don't think her intention was only to get a 2 count.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. So she goes for a pin, gets a toe.
Yes. And then we have Rana doing some high kicks to Emma's face in the corner. Emma doing some more forearms. And Rana actually comes back with one of her own. Hits her really, really hard. Rana tries for a submission hold, but Emma is able to scoot over and make it to the ropes. Emma then does a Boston Crab on Rana, but Rana's able to get herself to the ropes for the break, but then Emma puts another Boston Crab on her, and then she makes it to the ropes again for a break. So she does 2 Boston Crabs right in a row, but Rana's able to break out of both of them. Emma, honestly, at this point, is just putting so much pressure and offense on Rana, which I thought was really nice. I'm actually not familiar with either of these Stardom stars. I've never seen them before, so this was it was nice for me to get to know these 2 competitors. So we have Rana trying a pin on Emma, but at the last second, Emma's actually able to get her arm to the rope to break the count. But then Rana eventually gets a double arm stretch with it looked like a leg stretch, forcing Emma to tap out. So we have Rana retaining her Future of Stardom belt.
And this is actually a surprisingly fast match.
Yeah, it wasn't a long one at all. So then we move to Fuwa-chan and Sayori Anyu. This was such a great match. This was so hard hitting.
This was really the beginning of a whole just slow of awesome matches.
Yes, it really was. So we have Fuwa-chan starting out really quick, but Anyu then takes over almost immediately, smashing Fuwa-chan's face down on the rope. And then we get Anyu trying for a cover. She only gets the 2 count. Then she is pushing and doing some light shoves to Fuwa-chan's face, and then does a bridge into a straitjacket camel clutch, which looked incredibly painful.
Yeah.
She looked like she was being bent like a pretzel. So then we get Fuwa-chan actually coming back offensively. She does a missile drop kick from the top. She puts Anyu in an abdominal twist. And I just have to say, I was so excited because she tucked her toe behind the leg, which is something that we always talk about with these
abdominal stretches and obviously abdominal twist here. So
yes,
she's definitely in great form.
Yes.
Gorilla Monsoon would be very proud.
So then we get Fua-Chan going up for a splash, comes down, completely misses. Then we get Anu takes that moment to capitalize with an armbar. She has her leg actually like wrapped around the back of Fua-Chan's neck and then holds her ankle to lock it in. But Fua-Chan, not enough to keep her down. She breaks out. We get Fua-Chan then going to up and then doing a dive to the outside from the top.
And not only does she take out her opponent, but she takes out
a whole bunch of other people on the outside.
Other stablemates as well.
Yes. So then both of them end up back in the ring. Fua-Chan again is going up to the top rope. She does 3 missile drop kicks in a row to Anu, covers for a 2 count, and then does like a leg trap arm scissors to Anu. But Anu actually was able to, while she's still in the hold, roll herself over to the center of the ring, which I don't really think helped her very much, but then is able to scoot herself over to get to the ropes, breaking the hold, which looked like that honestly probably took a lot out of her.
Oh, yeah. Trying to drag herself and a whole nother body around.
Yeah. After the break, Fua-Chan pulls Anu up by her hair and then gets bitch slapped for it. And then we have another near fall on Anu. Fua-Chan hits a moonsault for the 2 count. That looked crazy. She had really beautiful form when she did that. She did that off the top rope also, just to put that out there. We again have Fua-Chan pulling Anu up by her hair.
She was really yanking at it this
time.
She
really was.
Yeah.
So then we have Anu doing a bridging roll up for a 2 count. That looked really cool. I like that move. And then we have Fua-Chan catching Anu with let me see if I can say it right. Magistral cradle.
Yeah, yes, there we go.
Yes, so she does the Magistral cradle for the win. And then after the match, we actually have Anu putting her hand out for a shake, which Fua-Chan does take it, but then rakes Anu in the eyes.
No, Anu rakes her eyes.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yes, sorry. Anu rakes her in the eyes.
Yeah, she lulled her in there with the handshake.
She did. She absolutely did. All right. So then after this, we have Saki Kashima's retirement ceremony.
This was very nice.
It was. She was.
Crowd was very emotional.
Yeah, she was emotional.
Very emotional.
Yes.
Everybody was loving it.
Yes.
We had Tomohiro Ishii come out and bring flowers and give it to her. I mean, I know I'd be crying if Tomohiro Ishii gave me flowers. So
well, he's one of your favorite wrestlers.
He is one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah, it was just I think it was a really nice segment.
I mean, who wouldn't like a stoned Pitbull?
I don't know.
Unless he's a singer Pitbull, then I guess I'm out.
I wouldn't be, but...
I'm glad you wouldn't be.
So I just have to say, though, I thought it was cute. She came out at the beginning of the ceremony. She actually came down on a rolling cart.
Yeah.
So that was funny.
You'd see in a store pushing around boxes.
Yeah.
It's like a hand cart. Almost not a hand truck, but yeah.
Yeah, like a hand cart.
Like a hand cart.
These things are so hard to maneuver sometimes.
No, the girl doing it was leaning all of her body weight back to try to not slide down the ramp with the cart. It was pretty entertaining.
It was. She did get on the mic and she was talking a little bit, but obviously because we don't know Japanese, we had no idea what she was saying. But it was a really beautiful ceremony.
She was saying she loves everyone, and she so much enjoyed her time in the ring.
Oh, did you learn Japanese and not tell me?
Yes, I did.
Oh, well then why didn't you say earlier?
Me so horny.
Okay, moving on. All right, so we're coming up next with a Drunkers Crash hardcore tag team match. I've never heard of anything like this before, so this was new to me.
I don't think you've seen anything like this before.
No, I have not.
But this was a boatload of fun, folks.
Yes. We have Suzu Suzuki and Rima.
I mean, if you go back to watch this match, take a beer, sit down, you're going to have a good time.
Yes. So we have the team of Mi Vida Loca, and that is Suzu Suzuki and Rima Yamashita.
Yep.
And then,
I'm sorry, Yamashita.
I was like, no, I know I'm saying that wrong.
My brain out.
Yamashita. And they were going up against the team of, I think they're called Hi Hey Mate, and that is Yaha Kano and Maika. So I just have to say that
Yaha Kano.
Hanako. What did I say?
I just said it twice. I can't even repeat. I can't even remember now.
Hanako. My bad. Sorry.
It's just Hanako.
Why do I have Ya there?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's just Hanako.
Hanako. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Anyway, Hanako. That's how I refer to her.
And her
throughout
partner,
anyway.
Maika.
Yes, Maiko. All right.
Or Maika.
Yes. So we start off with beers, cans of beer. And we all start off with beer crashing and chair smashing. Yep. So that's a lot of fun.
They open their cans. They start cheersing together. Yep. Then they start throwing the cans. They start grabbing chairs, trying to beat the shit out of each other with it. It's stirs all hot and heavy.
Yes, it
Real
does.
fun.
Yep. And then we get Suzuki and Yamashita taking their beer cans. And I don't know how they did this, but they somehow...
Well, they crushed the cans up. The cans were crushed from the smashing. And then they were using the edges of them.
Okay.
To rake along the heads of Hanako and
Maika, yeah. So, and when they did this, Hanako started bleeding like crazy,
and it would just get worse and worse.
Yes, which we'll definitely touch on in a minute. But I just have to say, starting off that way, I've never seen anything like this in Stardom, so this was definitely new. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of a Jon Moxley match.
GCW show, which is. Yamashita is, of course, very familiar to GCW fans. She is a former, what do they call it, ultra-violent champion, I think, in GCW. But essentially your deathmatch hardcore champion. She loves to play with light tubes. She is a very vicious girl out there in the ring. And this definitely showcased that side of her in the world of Stardom. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, I agree. So after we have the... raking of the beer cans. Then we get Suzuki grabbing a stapler and flowers and stapling them to Hanako and Maika's foreheads. Whoa. So Yamashita.
That's a new way to give somebody flowers.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, and a headband too, I guess.
Okay.
Or a clip.
A scar?
And a scar. Well, yeah, sure. So then we get Yamashita chairing Hanako in the back so hard. She opens the chair. So Hanako is laying on the mat at this point. And she, after hitting her in the back of the head with the chair, she actually opens the chair up and sits down on it over top of Hanako. Incredibly cocky.
Yeah, super cocky.
Yes. We get Yamashita pulling a ladder out, smashing Hanako's face into it several times. Hanako is just, at this point, profusely bleeding.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is really everywhere. And then...
But this doesn't stop Yamashita from biting her forehead.
No, it does not, which is, quite frankly, kind of disgusting.
Interesting way to do a blood transfusion.
Yes.
Well, vampire style. You heard of strong style. This is vampire style, folks.
So we have Yamashita had pulled out the ladder. We have the ladder still in the ring. Hanako actually steps out of the way as Yamashita tries to, yes, I'm going to trip over it probably 4 more times. But she tries to hit Hanako into it. But when Hanako steps out of the way, Yamashita actually ends up smashing face first into the ladder. So a little bit of revenge on her. So Hanako picks the ladder up at this point, has it on her neck, and starts swinging it around to hit Yamashita and Suzuki in the... I think she knocked them both in the face.
Sort of that helicopter maneuver.
Yes.
Helicoptering around.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Taking her opponents out.
Yep. And then knocks them... So that knocks them completely to the ground. And then when they go to stand up, she takes the ladder off her neck and then just throws it into both of them.
Yep, taking them down again. Yep.
So Yamashita then takes the ladder and slams it into Maika. Maika comes up on the ladder and does a... Go ahead.
I'm not understanding your notes here.
That's okay.
But, okay. So it's actually Yamashita getting slammed onto the ladder by Maika.
Oh, that's not what I said.
And then Maika suplexed Suzuki off the ladder onto the mat. So they set up the ladder at one point here. And the other 2 women are holding the bottom of it while the other 2 climb Suzuki and Maika. And then Maika suplexes Suzuki off the top of the ladder, which looked great.
Yes. So, and at this point, they talk about... Go ahead, you can say that.
Well, Hanako is covered, like we said, Hanako is bleeding like a stuffed pig here. She looks horrible. Her face is covered in blood. And, they talk about having a crimson mask in wrestling, but Hanako had a crimson wig here. Her blonde locks are just completely covered in red. It literally looked like she had dyed her hair.
Mid had dyed her hair mid match. Yeah, no, it's so much. And throughout the entire match, she just bled. I don't think she ever honestly stopped. I don't know how she didn't honestly pass out from so much blood loss. So then we get Suzuki bashing a chair into Hanako's face so hard that it actually wrapped around it. I'm surprised she didn't actually knock Hanako off her feet from that move. Hanako eventually ends up on the mat, and they take a ladder and they put it on her back, and then Yamashita and Suzuki grab chairs and start banging into
They're just beating the ladder into the back of Hanako.
Yeah. So Maiko and Hanako both come up. They're on the mat. They kind of get up on their knees trying to stand up, and Yamashita actually comes over and staples both of them in the forehead. This match was really wild. We get Suzuki is on the top turnbuckle, and Hanako grabs her. So there are tables set up on the outside of the ring. There's two of them that are pushed together. So
side by side.
Side by side, yes. Yeah. And so we have Suzuki and Hanako on the top turnbuckle, and Hanako grabs Suzuki, power bombs her into the table. She goes through the first table, but the back of her head actually
just clips
the second table, sounding absolutely awful, and was very reminiscent of what had actually just happened to Solruka on NXT. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So
this actually looked way worse.
Yeah, it really.
Those tables are like a lot thicker.
Okay.
And she really smacked the crap out of her head.
She did. She was holding her head.
I was surprised Suzuki was really fighting as much as she was later, and she would proceed to after this repeatedly keep putting her hand on the back of her head and looking at her hand, checking to see how much blood was there. Which there was. You could tell there was some blood coming off the back of her head.
Yeah, and we weren't sure exactly how much because she had already had blood on her from other, other
well,
spots
she had
in the
blood
match.
on her hands from Hanako bleeding everywhere on everyone.
Yeah, so we get Suzuki rolling back into the ring, and Hanako trying to immediately capitalize on that
with a
cover, only getting the 2 count. We get Maika and Hanako dropping Suzuki onto a stack of chairs in the middle of the ring, and then Suzuki will take a Suzuki does a German suplex to Hanako onto the stack of chairs. And then we have
I think she goes for a pin, but it gets broken up here.
Okay.
And then we have Yamashita bringing in a barrel.
Yes.
Well, it was barrel. Like sort of half a barrel, though. It was like sort of something that you imagine you would have in a sauna.
Okay.
Where it's that just sort of wooden sort of bin.
Okay. No lid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she brings the barrel into the ring and puts it over Hanako's head. And then we have Yamashita and Suzuki grabbing chairs and starting to beat the side of the barrel with the chairs, knocking her to the mat.
They're playing bongo drums on it there.
Yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of that.
Batting practice, I don't know.
Yep. So then Suzuki takes the chair and smashes it over Hanako's head. Hanako's taking a lot of beating.
Yeah.
Ends up breaking
terrible.
Ends up actually breaking the seat of the chair, which was crazy. And then
that seat just like went flying.
Yeah. So then we get Suzuki doing a German suplex to Hanako. This is not enough to keep her down, but then Suzuki does another German suplex to Hanako, actually this time onto the pile of chairs, and gets the pin for the win. So that was an insanely crazy match.
It was fun. It was fun match.
It was fun. I very much enjoyed it.
Of it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, and we're like 3-4 hours into the show at this point. And oh man, that just I think that was a good pacing of the show because I think that brought everybody back up to a high level there. And then we slow it down with a nice fun bout with a famous AEW star, AEW women's one half the AEW Women Tag Team Champions in Megan Bayne challenging Siori for her IWGP Women's Championship.
Absolutely. So we start with a lockup, showcasing their size difference because those of you who know, Megan Bayne, I believe, is almost 6 feet tall, or she is 6 feet tall. And Siori, she's kind of a tiny girl.
She's a tiny girl.
Megan follows soon with a big fall away slam, and then Megan
really demonstrating that her power.
Yes,
really using a lot of her power against Siori and being smart with that advantage, not trying to run around, but trying to stop Sayori from running around and just holding her down and keeping her in that ring, keeping her in the corners a lot, just really beating her and really using that weight advantage to her advantage. Yeah, sorry, that was bad wording there.
That's okay. And then, so Megan stays strong offensively. There's lots of hard hits in the corner. She does try for some covers, only getting 2 counts.
A bunch of near falls, yeah.
Yep. And then we have Sayori, who is laying on the mat, and Megan is like towering over her, yelling at her to say, "Come on, get up, like let's go."
Yeah, demanding her to bring it.
Yep. Megan, pushes...
I don't think that's the wisest move for anyone in this business.
No?
No, you get a chance to, you get an advantage on your opponent, you take it. You keep capitalizing. You don't stand back and try to show how cool you are, try to prove how big you are, and this is how you end up in trouble.
But isn't that kind of how she is, though? Isn't that kind of what she does?
And that's how you end up in trouble.
Yeah, that is true.
Hey, and she had a chance to win the women's title from Toni Storm, and what happened?
She didn't get it.
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, so at this point then, we get Megan pushing Sayori over the middle rope, face down. And then Megan actually takes her thigh and pushes it like on the back of Sayori's head, and then starts like almost like bouncing her head off of the rope, which I thought was interesting. I know I've seen them do this a lot, like with their feet.
She was like choking her, really.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I guess her throat
so.
along the rope, and her legs over, and she's like bouncing up and down, and like, driving that rope further and further into the throat of Sayori.
Yeah. So then, as Sayori comes out of the ropes, Megan does a forearm on her so hard that she actually just falls straight on her back.
Yep.
Sayori's going to come back then with a series of knees to Megan's midsection. She did, at this point, try for a running clothesline, but Megan actually countered and threw her to the mat. Megan then, again, showing her power, picks Sayori up in a fireman's carry, and this was insane. Threw her over the top rope. Now, the thing is, from our vantage point, we can't see that anybody is actually down on the outside. All we see is her throw her over the rope, and I literally thought she was going to die. She just threw her so, and it would happen so fast. But then we see that she's actually thrown into some of the other faction members on the outside.
A pile of girls.
Yes. Yeah. Like Mean Girls. So then we have some fighting on the outside. Sayori throws Megan back into the ring. She does a top rope famouser, tries again for another cover, only gets the 2 count. Sayori then does a double arm stretch, almost like a Black Widow, onto Megan, but Megan fights out, hitting a side slam. And then Sayori tries for an arm bar, but Megan uses her hips and again shows the strength that she has to get herself over to the ropes for the break. And then at this point we have a lot of back and forth with 2 counts. But it ends up being...
It's trading near falls.
Yes. So then we get Sayori actually making... Sayori puts Megan into an inverted triangle choke, forcing Megan to tap out, which I found... that was very surprising for me. I really wasn't expecting that. So that was a really good match.
Not something we see a lot on AEW television,
no.
Megan Bain tapping out. But she did here to Sayori, and Sayori retaining her IWGP Women's Championship.
Yep. So now we move on to our next title match, which is the Goddesses of Stardom. So
their version of the tag team titles.
Yes. So we have the team of Azumi and Miyu Amasaki versus Natsuko Tora and Ruaka, who are the current champions. So
of Hate fame.
Hate, yes. So I was just getting ready to say that. So they start off really strong with big offense. Hate. So that's Tora and Ruaka. We get Azumi trying to actually forearm Tora with absolutely no effect. She stands absolutely statuesque. It was
like she was hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, it really did.
I think Azumi was hurting her own arm.
Probably. We have lots of good tag team work. We get some offense here from Azumi. She does a shotgun drop kick from the top to Ruaka, and then does an arm stretch, but Ruaka is able to make it to the ropes for the break. We have Azumi smashing between Hate and then... Azumi is smashed between the 2 members of Hate and then are super kicked by both. That looks pretty wicked. But then we have Azumi. So we have Amasaki in the ring. She's kind of like bent over in half. And Azumi jumps onto Amasaki's back go ahead.
front of Ruaka, who's like on the top rope.
Yes, and she takes Ruaka and does a suplex from the top. Oh, I guess a superplex
Yep.
from the top turnbuckle. So then we have Tora coming in. We have Tora doing a Samoan drop to Amasaki and trying to capitalize by going for a cover. Only gets the 2 count. But then we get Tora doing a senton to Amasaki. Oh my God! Ouch! That is. She's a big girl.
It's a lot of girl.
That is a lot of girl to be taking a senton from. So then she puts her into a submission hold by, it looked like she was like pulling her leg back. But Amasaki's able to get to the ropes for the break. So Azumi then does a double stomp to Tora off the top turnbuckle to help her partner. Amasaki then capitalizes by doing an arm stretch on Tora. She tries to reverse but isn't able to. So then we have Hate coming in, doing a double splash into Neo Genesis. Oh, I'm sorry. Azumi and Amasaki, I didn't say this earlier. They are part of the Neo Genesis faction. So then we have Amasaki doing what looked like to me a snap suplex on Tora. But then Tora just misted Amasaki in the face, which I thought was really interesting that she was able to still do really anything after just getting misted in the face. Like yeah. So
and I thought it was interesting because the color of mist they did actually perfectly matched her attire.
I know.
It almost looked like she misted herself before she came out.
Yes, it did.
How closely those colors matched.
Yep. So Tora tries for a cover, only gets the 2 count. Amasaki's able to kick out. And then we get Tora hitting Amasaki in the head. Oh, so at this point we have members of Hate. They are distracting the referee, which allows then Tora to hit Amasaki in the head with the case that she brought out during her entrance. So then we have Tora doing...
Well, Ruaka usually brings out the case.
But yeah. Oh, okay. So then Tora does a senton off the top turnbuckle onto Amasaki, covering for what she thinks is going to be the pin, but nope, only a 2 count. We get Amasaki fighting back with hitting 2 pedigrees on Tora. And then,
this is going to be the finish.
Yes, and then doing the pin for the win. And we now have new Goddesses of Stardom champions.
Yes.
So, pretty exciting. So this is our first title change of the night.
Yes.
So our next one is another title match. This is for the Wonder of Stardom match. Wonder of Stardom belt. We have Konami versus Hanan. So
Konami, our champion.
Oh, sorry, yes. So we immediately start off with Konami on the offensive. She's working Hanan's right arm, and Hanan's looking really hurt at this point. Konami's bending Hanan's fingers back, a lot like Zack Sabre Jr. does, which I find so cringe. Hanan then comes back, has Konami, in an arm bar, but Konami's able to get to the ropes for the break. And then we have Hanan. Sorry, guys. I am tripping over my words so much right now. So then we have Hanan doing a DDT to Konami from the apron to the floor. She landed so incredibly hard.
A wild spot.
It really was. So we have them coming back up into the ring. Konami grabs a can of her spray paint that she brought out during her entrance. She tries to spray Hanan, but Hanan actually at the last second pulls her arm around, reversing it, forcing Konami to actually spray herself in the face, which I thought was interesting, and it was black spray paint.
Yeah, which is what Hate always uses. Yeah.
Yes. So then we have Hanan trying to capitalize on this a little bit. She does 2 back suplexes on her, only gets the 2 count on both, and then, she covers on after doing them, but only gets the 2 counts. Hanan then does a 3rd back suplex, and this time she gets the pin for the win. And we have another title change with Hanan now being the new Wonder of Stardom champion.
Yep. And a really fun match that would have Hanan getting on the mic after doing a speech. We'd have the members of Stars coming out and sort of celebrating there with her, including Babe Priestley. Babe Priestley would hoist Hanan up on her shoulders. Mm-hmm. And then at the last second, slams Hanan to the mat, starts attacking her. She throws the Stars members out of the ring. She actually sort of lifts the like lifeless body of Hanan up and
By
sort
her
of
hair.
cradles her in like her arms on the mat. Tells her that I'm sorry. I think you
That's
remember
okay.
more about what she was saying.
No,
there,
you're doing
'cause-
fine.
Well, I'm not because I don't remember what she says.
She said that she wants to take her belt, and that she called her weak.
Yep.
And at this point, she takes
Stands
her,
up.
she grabs her by her hair, throws Hanan's head down on the mat, stands up, removes her shirt to
Her star
reveal
shirt.
that she is actually a member of Hate. She
Yep.
has a Hate shirt on, comes over,
I know
starts
you hated this.
I kind of. And then came over, starts attacking Hanan more by just stomping on her. And then we have the rest of the stars coming in trying to help
But they
Hanan,
get beaten
but
down
they
as
get
well.
beaten up too.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting
and then
turn.
Babe Priestley just like very triumphantly walking up the ramp,
Yep.
leaving the members of Stars looking very weak,
Yeah.
to use her own words.
Yeah, very much so.
And then finally, folks,
Our
as we were
main
going on
event.
here, hours and hours of wrestling, we get to the main attraction, our main event, a match I know a lot of people have been super excited for, me being one of them.
Me too.
That is Saya Kamitani, the World of Stardom champion, the red belt holder, defending her title against Sayaka Kurara.
I was very excited for this match. And I will just come out of the gate saying I think this was my favorite match of the night. This was so hard hitting, so hard fought. What was your opinion of it?
Oh, I loved it, but it wasn't my favorite match of the night.
No.
I did love it, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we start off obviously with lots of fast-paced action. We have some spillage to the outside where Kamitani pulls a chain from underneath the ring, puts it around Korra's neck, and then pulls her up the ring post and hangs her. I'm not sure at this point where the ref is, why that's not being, I guess, DQ'd or counted out. Not sure what happened there, but so then after this, she releases her. We start having both of them moving up the ramp towards the entrance. Kamitani turns around, suplexes Korra onto the ramp super hard.
I'm not sure that happened not before the bell. Which is why this wasn't DQ'd, why nobody got counted out.
I didn't even think of that. I honestly don't remember. I don't remember hearing the bells.
I walked away during this, so I did not see a bunch of the beginning of this match. I had to do some chores around the house real quick, and so I missed like about the first maybe quarter or third of this match, unfortunately.
Yeah. So okay,
I'm falling back on you.
No, that's okay.
To keep us paced here, because.
So after she suplexes Korra is just laying on the mat. She's laying on the ramp. She is just kind of really dazed. We have Kamitani going back up into the ring, grabbing a chair and setting up the chair. She sits on it.
So I guess this would have been after the match started because she almost
got counted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't remember hearing the bell, so I don't know when exactly it was. I wonder if maybe we just didn't see during the chain part.
Maybe members of Hate were distracting the ref.
Maybe.
As they are wanting to do.
Yeah, I mean, they remind me a lot of the faction in
the House
New
of
Japan.
Torture.
House of Torture,
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. So, so Korra is getting counted. She finally gets back into the ring at count 17 because they do a 20 count for Stardom in New Japan.
Well, yeah, that's usually Japanese rules. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we have Kamitani just dominating offensively through so much of this. She does some elbow strikes to the back of Korra's head, but then we get Korra coming back and she, I'm sorry, before she comes back, we have her hanging actually between the ropes and Kamitani goes over and like slams her foot down onto her head. So that looked pretty hard and very wicked. So then at this point, though, we're going to get Korra coming back with some offense, giving lots of forearms. But then Kamitani does one. So when Korra's doing her forearms, I wouldn't say that they're not effective, but they just don't seem like they're doing a ton to Kamitani. Kamitani comes back and does a really hard one, almost knocking Korra off
It was
her
actually
feet.
a series of them.
Yeah.
She did a series of them, then she reared back and did like an extra hard one, knocks her down to her knees.
Yeah, yeah. So Kamitani tries to do a running clothesline, But Korora
Meets her with the drop
anticipated
kick.
this and met her with the drop kick instead, which looked great. Her drop kick form was beautiful. And then we get Korora going over to the ropes. She does a springboard and gets Kamatani's shoulder down to the mat. She, at this point, tries for the pin, but only got the 2 count. And then we have Kamatani doing a fisherman driver, but she can't capitalize on this because at this point, they're both so exhausted. They're just both laying on the mat, out of breath. It takes them a minute to recover.
And that was actually a fisherman driver from the top rope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So once they recover a little bit, Korora gets Kamatani into a backpack sleeper hold with a body scissors, which honestly, I don't think I've ever truly seen anything like this. This spot was great because as she is in the backpack sleeper hold, she is Kamatani tries to fight back. You can just see she's trying to lift her legs up. She's trying to get her feet under her enough to be able to get up. She finally gets herself up to her feet, but then Korra actually flips her back to the mat, landing her completely on her head. And at this point, she looks like she's actually knocked out. The ref comes over. She's checking on her. She's still alive. She's still trying to get out of it. She is rolling herself over towards the rope and finally gets the break. So this spot seemed a little on the longer side than a lot of spots you see, but I think that it really took a lot out of both of them at a point where they already were feeling pretty exhausted. So as we keep moving through, Korora does a spear on Kamatani and then does a Falcon Arrow, tries for a pin but only gets the 2. She hits another spear on Kamatani, again tries for a cover, only getting a 2 count. When I said that this match was really hard fought, I mean like it was really hard fought. These girls just top notch. So they get up to the top turnbuckle. They're exchanging forearms. Kamatani ends up headbutting Korora, but then Kamatani does a fisherman Falcon Arrow off of the top rope. She tries again for another pin, only getting the 2 count. Kamatani then tries a big boot to Korora's face, again only getting tries for another pin, again only getting a 2 count. We have lots of 2 counts throughout this match. But then we get Hate coming in, and Hate is distracting the ref, and they come into the ring with a baseball bat and hits Korora. So we got a little bit of cheating going on, which isn't out of the realm of normalcy for Hate. We have Kamatani then capitalizing on this by suplexing Korora, tries for the pin, but we then, during this whole part, we have the Cosmic Angels in the ring with Hate fighting each other, and Cosmic Angels end up falling into Korora and Kamatani, breaking up the pin. So, and at this point now, we just have a whole bunch of chaos ensuing. We have the Cosmic Angels going after Hate. We have a spot where the Cosmic Angels actually duck when the member of Hate tries to super kick her. Kamatani is standing right by, and she actually ends up kicking her own teammate, Kamatani, in the face, which knocks Kamatani to the ground. So, of course, we just continue to keep getting more cheating from Hate. But then we get Korora up on the top turnbuckle, and she does a huge splash onto Kamatani, and she covers for the 1, 2, 3. And we have a new Wonder of Stardom champion. And oh my God,
World
was
of
that
Stardom.
match? Oh, what did I say? Wonder?
Wonder.
Oh, World.
Yes.
My bad. World of Stardom champion.
New red belt holder.
Yes. Damn, was that a good match.
Yes.
And I have to say, this actually ended Kamatani's 483-day reign.
Yes. Kamatani having some of the most title defenses in the entire history of the World of Stardom Championship was very much zeroing in on the lauded reign of... I'm sorry, I had to burp there. Of Io Shirai, who some of you out there might know a little bit better as WWE's Io Sky with, I believe, she had, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I had this written down right here, folks. Give me a second. Let me look through my notes here. My notes.
You'll find it.
So, yes. She had 9 title defenses.
Okay.
I believe the number one being Io Shirai was, Sayori had 10. Utami Yamashita had 9.
Okay.
So she tied her there, and the most being Io Shirai at 14.
Okay.
So it actually looked like she was going to head in that direction and end up breaking that streak, but in fact it did not happen, and we have it. But I think a shocking news coming out of the All-Star Grand Prix: Sayaka Kurara gaining the red belt, ending that 483 day streak.
So
Saya Kamatani.
Do you have a note?
One
on
of the
how
best
many...
title reigns.
Sorry.
I think for Stardom in a long time. This was
absolutely
really, really good.
Yeah. Do you have how many title defenses Kamatani had?
Yes. I said that 9.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 So
She was tied with Utami.
Okay. So that wasn't quite. Yeah, that wasn't as close to.
1 behind Sayori's.
Yeah.
And then about 5 behind Io Shirai or Io Sky.
I'm excited to see where
Io Sky is who's currently in a feud with a former Stardom alumni in Asuka, known as Kana in Stardom. So, some more Stardom links here. And another person who was just until this past week involved heavily in that storyline being Kairi Sane, who might just be heading back to Stardom, or at least I hope. I know she's already gone back to Japan at the very least, so I don't think it's going to be too long before we might see her in a Stardom ring, and we might see her in an AEW ring.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
I think that's exciting.
I think that's exciting.
Yes.
All right, well.
So, WWE's loss is Stardom's gain.
Absolutely. And sometimes AEW's.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's going to end our show for tonight.
It's going to bring us to the end here. We have Dynamite tomorrow night, and we should be talking to you folks all tomorrow night for our 16th episode.
Yes, 16.
Of the WrestleCord podcast. And if you could just give me a few seconds here, I am going to give everyone a preview of tomorrow night's
card.
Yep, Dynamite. And this, I know it's going to be headlined as it was announced last week with Brody King taking on Darby Allin for Darby's AEW World Champion.
That's going to be good.
We're also going to get the Divine Dominion defending their tag team titles against Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander.
Okay.
And then in another big title bout for the show, another match we learned last week as well, is that it's going to be Kevin Knight defending his newly won TNT Championship against MJF. Maxwell Jacob Friedman very upset at the loss of his world title, and it looks like he might be strapping a different title around his waist. And I'd really love to hear your prediction on that one. What do you think's going to happen there? Do you think they're putting the belt on MJF?
I don't know.
Just putting him in a new direction, keeping him away from Darby? Or is he going to win that belt and then try to become a dual champion?
I wouldn't put that past MJF. I think that would definitely be a goal for him. I don't know, though, because I feel like MJF already beat Kevin once.
Yeah.
So, there's a good chance that MJF is going to beat Kevin again. But I don't... Yeah, that's probably my prediction.
They're going to have Kevin lose twice in a row to MJF?
MJF? Yeah.
You think this could be sort of a schmoz situation? We might maybe get Kevin Knight retaining because of a DQ or a count out or something along those lines?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Kevin's doing such a great job. I think
I have a feeling MJF's going to get caught cheating.
Okay.
And
that wouldn't be surprising.
A DQ win for Kevin Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, so he doesn't get a straight out win, but he gets it by DQ. Not a pin. Yeah. Like he's not pinning him or making
but he's
him
a champ, so he doesn't need to.
Yeah, no. I know.
And it's not really at his fault. It's not like he's getting a count out and letting the guy get counted out instead of going and stopping him. He can't help it if MJF's going to cheat.
That's very true.
So, what are your predictions with the main event?
Darby and Brody?
Actually, let's talk first about the tag match. So, we have Hikaru Shida, the new team of Hikaru Shida. I know, folks, it's Hikaru Shida. I'm doing a bit here. I'm doing the Tony Storm.
Which, if you didn't listen to
like
our previous...
if you didn't notice during the earlier segment during Collision, I sometimes jokingly call Samoa Joe Samosif Joseph.
Yes.
I don't know why. I think it's funny. And so in that match, Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander are challenging for the Divine Dominion, Megan Baines and Lena Cross's tag team titles. What do you think we're going to get there?
I think that the Divine Dominion are going to keep their titles.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think you're probably right there. I think it's way too early to put an end. I think the team's doing great, and
I agree.
I think this whole thing here is teasing a lot of tension between Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida with the whole Harley Cameron Mina stuff and all. So I think this is probably going to signal the beginning of Hikaru turning heel and feuding with Chris Statlander, even though she pretty much already has turned heel. But,
Yeah.
Not so definitively. So then in our main event, World Championship, Darby Allin defending against Brody King.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Is it? Is it? Is it, though?
You say it like I should just automatically know.
Yeah, I think you should. Well, what do you think I'm referencing when I say that?
I think Darby's going to win.
Yeah, so I fucking know Darby's going to win. There's not a fucking chance. They're taking the title off for Brody King. And don't get me wrong,
who thought
I like
they were
going
to take the title off of freaking
Well,
MJF for Darby Allin?
A lot of people did.
Really?
God, especially when Sting shows up there when they're in his hometown, when they booked that match so fast just so he's in his hometown.
I guess. I don't know. I didn't put all that together.
I mean, that was definitely more surprising than just it wasn't so predictable as I think Darby Allin winning this is super predictable. So I mean, if Brody King wins, I think that's going to be the biggest upset of the decade. But there we go, folks. That is the preview we have thus far for tomorrow's Dynamite, and like we said, we should be seeing you guys tomorrow night right after Dynamite to do our quick Dynamite recap, and I will be seeing everybody for sure tomorrow in another WrestleCord news break. So please check us out, youtube.com/WrestleCord. Check us out on RSS.com. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get podcast needs. If you ever want to, we also are on Twitter, X, whatever. We're also on Facebook. All just search WrestleCord and you will find us. You can also email us with any comments or questions at WrestleCord26@gmail.com. And thank you, folks, so much for listening. This is Ryan, along with Cordial, saying have a good night.